questions, and we're going to be exploring how digital transformation and cybersecurity journeys are interconnected. By the end of this, you should leave with some best practices and takeaways to secure and increase uptime within your own operations. To start, I'd like to introduce the two leaders that we're going to be engaging in this discussion with. Galina Antova is the co-founder of Claroty. She's a cybersecurity entrepreneur and executive with over 15 years of cybersecurity expertise. For the last 9 years, Galina has focused on advancing the state of cybersecurity for critical infrastructure and is one of the top recognized experts in this field. Galina, we're really excited to have you. Rachel Conrad is the Vice President and General Manager of Rockwell Automation's services business. She's accountable for $800 million in revenue and 3,000 employees globally. Rachel has a diverse background and has held many roles of increasing responsibilities in operations, sales, marketing, and business leadership. And my name is Robin Flint. I'm going to be moderating this discussion today. I'm the Software Alliance Manager that focuses on this relationship with Claroty at Rockwell Automation. Today with some questions. So let's start off by sharing why the two of you are here today and what industrial companies should be expecting from a partnership with Rockwell Automation and Claroty. We'll go ahead and start with Rachel.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here today with Galina. I'm excited Automation Fair from Home Week, and it's a really great time to talk to the market about all the great things that are happening, things that we're working on and percolating, things that Rockwell's developing on our own, but also developing with our partners. And Claroty has been an amazing partner for the services business. We've been working on a lot of things cyber, and it's fun to talk this week to everyone and share some of that work. And happy to be here to share some of that excitement with everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Rachel. From you?
Absolutely. So first of all, it's a pleasure to be part of this event. I know that this is unprecedented times that we're living through, and everything is done in a remote way. In a silver lining kind of way, also, all the digital transformation projects that we've seen in the last 9 months, they have actually picked up. And this is one of the ways I think in which I think this period of our joint partnership is really exciting. So what Claroty does, I want to talk a little bit about what Claroty does, and also how Claroty and Rockwell have this amazing partnership and the value that we bring to customers. So at the end of the day, Claroty's objective is to expand the core security controls that organizations have to their OT networks, right? So we're not a point product. Our platform has everything from asset management to threat detection and secure remote access. Where our partnership with Rockwell comes into focus is really the fact that customers are at different points in their journey to digital transformation. And this is where Rockwell and specifically their services organization come with so many different capabilities. Everything from the technology bundles to the expertise that they have in those industrial environments. So from the first initial steps of the assessment all the way through the deployments, making sure that we're extracting a lot of value from all of those projects and technologies that are being deployed, all the way to like managing the assets. So that relationship has been very complementary, and I'm very excited about how the offering is going to be evolving in the future. And there's some very exciting things that are coming in a short while from a roadmap perspective. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Rockwell Automation really being the trusted partner of customers, meeting them at the point of journey that they are with their digital transformation, and helping them truly take advantage of the amazing opportunity that we have nowadays, which was definitely accelerated by the COVID crisis.
Galina, you talked a little bit about this, and I'd like you to expand upon this for the audience, if you don't mind, and Rachel, you too. But can you talk to us a little bit about how digital transformation journeys and cybersecurity journeys are actually very much interconnected?
Absolutely. It has been such a fascinating time. So first of all, what we're seeing, we've been on this trajectory for a number of years now, but definitely COVID accelerated that. At the end of the day, all companies are becoming tech companies, technology companies. And what I mean by that is We saw the opportunity, not only from a cost savings perspective, but from an enablement perspective, that were offered to us during these unprecedented times when we actually started working from home. We started doing things in a way that we haven't anticipated we'll be doing. And all of that is basically enabled by technology. Now, in order for that technology to work properly, we have to connect different parts of the organization to one another. And this is not a new journey for us, right? So IT and OT have been converging for a while, but really COVID accelerated that transition. So what has become, I think, really clear to leadership and large organizations in the last year or so is that cybersecurity shouldn't only be seen as a cost center, right? It's actually a competitive advantage. And I think this is what Claroty and Rockwell together offer is a value prop, is how can we take your existing environment and help you transform that in a way that you're fully taking advantage of transformation projects that you have, whether that's, data analytics from your shop floor. And that, of course, means that you have to enable some connectivity, whether that's crunching other sources of data, whether that's secure remote access. Those are all ways in which we're transforming our businesses. And our joint value proposition at the end of the day is to enable that digital transformation so that we can give our customers a competitive advantage going forward. And I really don't think that the mindset that we kind of acquired in the last few months is going to go away, because I think it became pretty clear to executives and board of directors that looking at digital transformation this way and looking at cybersecurity as a competitive advantage goes way beyond cost, right? Not only in times of crisis, but also in regular times when you actually have to optimize everything and you have to compete with other companies that are technology companies.
That's great. Yeah, Rachel, I'd like you to also share a little bit about that, being the leader in services, really how you've seen customers interconnect the two.
Yeah, I'm going to try not, I agree with everything Galina said, so I'm going to try not just give it maybe a little bit different lens from a services provider, and just how I've seen over time, even the work that we do for customers is really changing. And what I mean by that is, like, if you think about the work we have a lot of field service engineers all around the world, right? And 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, the bulk of that work was supporting customers when they were down, when they were in an emergency situation and they were trying to get back up and be productive. But like, everything has shifted, and even our mindset is about, I don't want to be there when you're down. I want to protect you from ever going down, right? And so the way that we make money as a company, the way that our customers make money are aligned, right? And they're not like diverging. And I think that's really exciting to watch, because what that means is that we want to be there to watch what's happening, to give you insight before anything happens, to take technology like threat detection from Claroty, to take our knowledge of OT and how applications run, and use all that knowledge and digital information to keep you running, to keep the customers running, right? And so that is how they're connected, is that digital transformation journey is about connecting insight, making better decisions, right? And you can't do that if you're down because you have a security breach. So the worlds kind of collide, but it's exciting to watch, because that's the way customers are thinking. That's the way that we think together between Claroty and Rockwell. We can offer more value, is we're going to keep you up and running. And we can do that remotely through managed services. We have ways to deliver assessments. If you want to know what your security posture is, what your risk is, what are some strategies? We can do everything remotely right now, right? And that's pretty cool. So COVID kind of, not that we couldn't do it, but it accelerated our ability to be able to do that. So if you want us on site, we can be there. But if you want to still improve your security positioning, you want to move from like a security assessment to kind of implementation to like a managed service, all of that spectrum you can do, and we can help you at the pace that you want to move at, right? And it's not just something that's like a luxury anymore, right? So everybody is thinking about it, and COVID kind of just really accelerated it, almost made it more okay to be remote, right? And to deliver that capability. But being remote means you got to have secure connections, right? You got to be thinking about like where risk can come in, and that's where we can help.
Rachel, you're hitting on some really good best practices here that companies can leverage. I'd like to ask Galina too, what are some other best practices companies can leverage to better increase their uptime and stay competitive?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to comment on what Rachel said, because this is really at the core. I think Rachel, you put it perfectly. It's all about being proactive in this new environment, right? It's not cybersecurity only as a defense measure, but as I said, cybersecurity as an enablement to your business. We enable your business. That's the bottom line of what Claroty and Rockwell are doing together. And with all of this proactiveness, it's really important also to meet customers where they are on their maturity journey. And you guys have done an amazing job of that, right? Because it's all about having that trusted partner that can take you from point A to point B, whatever those 2 points are for the specific company. And another thing that I think is also very important to highlight from what you mentioned is what I think, it's not that we couldn't do what we're doing now from a technology capabilities. I think what really accelerated the process is the mindset change, right? So companies and their board of executives became a lot more accepting of doing all these things around digital transformation because of the crisis, right? But we also learned that we don't need a crisis to go implement all of those wonderful digital transformation projects. So I expect this to the speed at which we've seen those projects change to continue even without a crisis like COVID. Now, Robin, to your question about the best practices, you know, I've in my experience, I've seen a lot of customers kind of come with this mentality of like wanting to do things perfectly, right? Because let's face it, cybersecurity in the IT domain is an established kind of enterprise, right? You've got all of your governance processes, you've got your technology stack. You are kind of looking for perfect answers. In OT, in many cases, we're starting from scratch, right? So I would just say, a best practice is a practice that gets you going. Start with an actual assessment and know exactly where you stand. And then that will just tell you so much about your environment and what you need to do in the next steps. So a great first step is just start with understanding what assets you have in your environment, right? You cannot protect what you cannot see. You will be surprised by all the different devices you can actually discover across your enterprise. So start with that. Once you have visibility around what you have and how those assets are currently, you know, not managed and not protected, this will very clearly dictate the next steps in your journey. But again, the best practice is just start somewhere, because there's a lot to be done. But some of those activities like visibility and the threat management, the monitoring of those networks gets you, you know, 80% there. So
yeah, it's cool because Galina, it gives, like, even if you think about like threat detection, right? And just even knowing what assets you have is so much, it's valuable information, not just from a cybersecurity perspective, but in like thinking about the life cycle of your equipment, right? Like the life cycle of your line. It's like, if you think about all the ways that you can use the information that's relevant to cybersecurity, but also relevant to just making you more productive and helping you plan in the future, right? I think that's where the worlds collide again too, and there's just even more value. It's like your business case on business resiliency is also about a modernization and a more productive strategy, right? Like you can use the money that you're getting from being more productive to help make your cybersecurity posture stronger, right? And it just feeds off each other, right? You get more output, and you can keep building on that strategy. So it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar investment all at once. Like you're saying, I absolutely believe in doing MVPs, minimal viable products, right? Like doing pilots, doing proof. Don't do it in all your plants. Start with one plant that has the most critical assets, right? I think those are all ways to get started, and don't wait for perfect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also, to highlight what you said, a lot of what we jointly do for those industrial networks and those industrial environments is not only cybersecurity related, it's productivity related. And it's just the nature of the domain that we operate in.
Absolutely. It's not only the SOC analysts and the IT folks that are looking at the output that comes from, let's say the Clarity Console. It is absolutely the engineers on the shop floor that are using us for asset management, etc. And this is also where a lot of the expertise of Rockwell comes into play. And so it's amazing to have you as a partner. It's just, in many ways, it is the beginning of this journey, because there's so many other plans that we have around some other exciting initiatives that will be announced. So thank you.
We don't want to give them all the information, right?
Right.
But there's some cool announcements and some cool things coming. So certainly stay tuned on. Our work together is definitely not over, right?
Such an important part that I've heard in the field time and time again of how do I protect my assets if I don't know what I have installed? And so I think that's a huge point that I just thank you guys for your insight there. So people participate in events like Automation Fair quite often, and they get many ideas on improvements that they want to make or innovations that they want to do to accelerate. What are some of the top few actions that you guys would prioritize for the audience members today to really go do first, or when they're shaping their cybersecurity narrative for their companies? Go do this first. Rachel, do you want to go ahead and give us?
Yeah, I hope this isn't a repeat, but I feel like the go do first is always like know where you are, number one. Number two is start to define where you want to go, right? And it doesn't have to be like 10 years from now where you want to go, but just like what are the outcomes that you need to drive, right, for your business? And then I'd say the next thing is find a partner, right? Like I would say nobody does the cybersecurity journey alone. Nobody does their digital transformation journey alone, right? You can't be an expert at everything, but what you should be an expert as your business, right? And that's where Clarity and Rockwell can come help you relative to cybersecurity. It's just like this is I think it's a journey, right? It's not a destination. Just make progress and start with that. And I know that's a little bit of repeating of the last one, but I mean, if I look at the last 7 years is really when we started to kind of talk to customers about cyber, and they were like, we don't worry about that in the OT space, and just how things have changed. It always has started with understanding what you have, right, before you do anything. And so I would just say start there.
Yeah, so visibility is absolutely key. And I would just add to that also, don't be overwhelmed by the complexity. You already have security infrastructure on the IT side. You already have governance processes that are dealing with a lot of those core security controls. So think of, expanding your reach of that governance and those core security controls to the OT networks through the use of Clarity with the help of Rockwell. And this is really where the 1 + 1 = 3 comes into play, because you're not running a separate process in OT. As we've been talking, everything converges, right? And to get the maximum value and to make sure that everything is optimally connected with your existing IT infrastructure, this is really where our collaboration comes into play. But it's not as overwhelming as it might appear from the beginning. Start with your assessment and your visibility, as Rachel mentioned, and think about how we plug into your existing processes and infrastructure.
Wow. Okay. Thank you guys so much for your insights. This was incredible. I know I've taken a lot from it, and I know the audience probably has too. So thank you to the audience members for listening. You guys can engage with us here at Automation Fair at Home in both the Clarity and the Lifecycle Services booths, or by reaching out to your local Rockwell Automation account manager or Clarity account manager. They're always willing to help to find specific ways that they can help you through your digital transformation and cybersecurity journeys. And for more information online regarding our combined capabilities, you can visit rock.auto/AF cybersecurity. And to understand what cybersecurity vulnerables to protect against vulnerabilities, that's Clarity released a vulnerabilities report that they release biannually. That can be found at rock.auto/Clarity report. Thanks for joining, and we're excited to connect with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.